Hey, what's going on, everyone? Zach here with Third Away. So I'm out doing estimates today. I'm actually in my wife's van because I'm going to go vacuum it out right after this. But kind of want to bring you guys along and show you how I do estimates. I've got like 4 or 5 to do today. Just right around in my local area. So I'm going to bring you along, and I think these estimates are going to be different ones. I know I've got a couple roof cleaning estimates. The one I'm going to, I think, is going to be a pool deck and a fence. The other one, I think, is just a regular house wash. It might be some bricks too. So I'm going to bring you guys along and show you kind of what I look at when I'm going to estimate a job, so you guys can kind of see and maybe pick up some tips on what to look for, when you're going to price out a job. So stay tuned. Okay, on to the first one. So on some of these, I don't know if the customer's going to be home. I typically don't like to film around the customer, but if they're not home, I'll try to take a video. If they are, then I'll just kind of get some pictures and maybe take a video without really talking through it, and I'll just do a voiceover. So we're here at the first one. Let's go check it out. All right, so the customer is here on this one, but he's going to be inside busy, so. Alright, so I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that was mainly a concrete pool deck right there around the pool. And then there's a concrete patio up by the back door. And then she said something about the fence, so I have to call her and see what she wants done with that. So typically the way I do those is I'll go back, once I get back to the house, I'll go and measure out the square footage of all the concrete and the fence. I'll measure out how many feet the fence. I'm also going to try and upsell probably the driveway, because the driveway is filthy as well. While I'm already washing all the concrete, I'll just throw the driveway in. But anyway, I typically start out right around 25 cents a square foot for concrete cleaning. If it's a lot of concrete, like that wasn't that much concrete. That'd probably take me like 30-45 minutes to do. But if it was a lot of concrete, you can go down a little bit with your price per square foot, just because it's a lot. So I'm headed to the next one. The next one, the customer is actually meeting me there, so I might not be able to get too much footage. So we're on to the next one, and I'll film as I can. So something else I wanted to mention, the way I do it, I usually don't give the price in person once I get there. Usually I'll go and take some photos if I need photos, or any kind of video, and I'll let them know that once I get back that I'm going to draft up the estimate and send it over. And what that does, that gives me a chance to, really sit down and measure everything out and make sure my price is right. Because when you do it in person, sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking, and you might throw out a number out there that's, a little too low or way higher than what it should be. So by doing it afterwards, sending them an estimate, you can make it look all professional, giving them an exact price of, what you need for the job. And it just helps me to do it that way. You don't have to do it that way. You just got to figure out what works best for you. There's some folks, they'll kind of measure everything out beforehand, and then they'll already have a price in their head, when they get there. I do try different things every now and then to kind of see, if if doing it one way affects my closing ratio, like if I'm doing it, giving the price in person, is my closing ratio higher or is it lower, versus doing it, sending them an estimate afterwards. But for me, it helps me not to underbid a job, because sometimes I'll get there and I'll look at it and be like, oh wow, this is going to take me an hour, I'll do it for, however much. And then I get back home and actually measure it out and like, shit, I should have bid that job a little higher. So that's just the way I do it. I just do it afterwards, and that's what works best for me. But you should definitely try it in different ways. Try doing it with sending the estimate. Try doing it with giving them the price, in person. But if you're going to do it in person, I definitely recommend measuring it out beforehand so that you kind of already have an idea of what you want to charge before you get there. All right, so that last one was kind of weird. The guy builds custom homes, and they're in the process of building that one. I didn't get any photos or video or anything, but he had already hired another company to come in and wash the brick. I guess they had a lot of dirt and crap all over from them doing the dirt work. And so he hired them to come and just clean it off. But he said they just straight up used a pressure washer. They didn't use any kind of, chemical or soap or anything to get the dirt off. And I told him, using a pressure washer, it's not necessarily mean it's gonna damage something, but there's definitely an increased risk of damage when you're using just full-blown pressure on brick. You end up blowing off mortar or putting water into places where it's not supposed to go. So now I looked at it and it's got some stuff all over the brick. I think it needs an acid wash, so probably just gonna give them a quote on that, because it doesn't sound like the other company knows like really anything about soft washing, because they just straight up used a pressure washer, like it's full blown, just blowing the dirt off the brick, which is not what I would have done. I would have just came in there with some soap and like maybe in like a light acid just to wash all that dirt off. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if he's gonna continue with that company or if he's gonna go with me from now on, because he said he's got 14 or 15 other houses going on right now that he needs cleaned up, before he puts them on the market. So we shall see. So this next one that we're going to doesn't sound like she'll be home. I think she's at work. She says just the front of her roof that she wants done, which I'll probably be able to get some video from. Roof cleaning is kind of what I specialize in. That's like probably 90% of what I do is roof cleaning. The other 10%, like house washing or concrete cleaning or whatever it is. But for the most part, I mainly just do roofs. So something else I wanted to mention, when you're going to do estimates, you should always show up presentable. And what I mean by that is, don't show up, in a filthy vehicle, or, just something that's run down. In my opinion, if I'm looking at hiring a company, right, and we have, company A and company B are both charging me the same price, but company B comes out, or let's say company A comes out and the guy's, he's a little off, his vehicle's all dirty and banged up, and it's, just looks like it's, not very presentable. It's not very clean cut. And he doesn't have any kind of, company identification on, like, at least a t-shirt with a company name on it, versus company B shows up in, a decent looking vehicle. It doesn't have to be a brand new truck or anything. It's clean. He gets out, he's very well mannered, yes sir, no sir, that type of thing. It's clean cut, his clothes are clean and presentable, doesn't smell bad. They're both charging the same price. Even if company B is a little bit higher, I'm still probably going to go with company B just because of, how they present themselves. So make sure when you're showing up to estimates, show up presentable, because that's going to go a long way with the customer. You know, don't show up, you know, all raggedy looking. I already know just what I want. All right, so we're here at the last one for the day. I don't know how well you can see that, the siding there. This one's probably just going to be a house wash. I don't really see anything on the roof. Might be able to see a little bit of it up there, but this one's just going to be a house wash quote. So some things that I would look out for when you're doing quotes. See all this? Fresh flowers. See here. Fresh flowers there. Fresh flowers here. Just be mindful. Make sure you've got you know, maybe someone here to help you keep them wet. Yeah, so this one will be a pretty easy one. We also got some fresh flowers over on that side, so. So once I get back, I'm going to show you guys how I'll go about writing up the quotes and kind of what I use. I don't know if y'all can hear the cows out there. All right, so I had to cut that one short. Lady like came up on a side-by-side. I guess it was her neighbor, and she asked me a bunch of questions like why I'm filming, and apparently it's her sister's husband or something owns that house. It was really weird. She was like all mad and stuff that I was filming. She was like, why are you pointing it this way? Why are you pointing it that way? And anyway, yeah, I had to cut it a little short there, but I think I got most of what I needed for y'all to kind of see what all I'm going to be quoting. Like I said, when I get back, I'll write it up and kind of show you how I measure it out and kind of like the rates that I use for as far as estimating goes. But yeah, that was really freaking weird. She just like pulled up, she's like all mad and stuff. Like, anyway, headed back to the house now. We're all done, and yeah, I'll show y'all on the computer. All right, so I figured I'd just show you guys on my phone. It's much easier to do it on here instead of the computer. So if you remember, the first estimate we did was this pool deck. So we're doing the pool deck, this back patio area. It's kind of blurry here, but it'll still measure out the right way. And we got this driveway here. It's kind of hard to see with a tree blocking it, but this is Google Earth. This is what I use to measure out what I'm quoting. So let's go ahead and start with the pool deck here. And it doesn't have to be, you know, exactly correct. So we've got, so about, we'll say 1,500 square feet. And then we'll measure out the actual pool and subtract that from the 1,500 because we're not cleaning the inside of the pool. So like I said, this doesn't have to be exact. You can just kind of get a rough idea. All right, so so we'll say around the pool deck is about 1,000 square foot. Let's measure out this back patio. All right, so we'll say about 300 square foot for the patio. And let's do the driveway. That looks about right. So about 1,000 square foot for the driveway. So what was that? About 1,000 for the pool deck, 1,500, and another 1,000. So we can go and just assume right about 2,500 square foot of concrete that we're going to quote here. So the easiest way to do this is literally just hop over the calculator, and so we got 2,500 square feet times 25 cents per square foot, $6.25. That's what I would put on the quote. All right, so here's that. I think it was the second or third house that we did. This one, she just wanted the front of the roof done because that's really the only side that needed it. It's kind of hard to see here. Google Earth is sometimes kind of wacky. You can see there's literally a floating tree right there. But anyway, so we're going to measure out the front of this roof here. And what I'm going to do here, just going to draw a big rectangle for the front side. Where's that end? About right there. Yeah, I think so. Come down here. Alright, so we're looking at, we'll say about 1,100 square foot. Now, when I'm doing partial roof cleaning, I go with 35 cents a square foot. That's just because if I'm doing a full roof, you know, I'll do 25 cents a square foot. But if it's just partial, I'm going to bump it up to 35 cents a square foot, because at 25 cents a square foot, you're only at $2.75. And I don't know, I just like to go higher just a little bit when I'm doing partial. So I just always do 35 cents a square foot when I'm doing partial roof cleaning. So the front of that roof is going to be $3.85 there. So she also wanted her house washed. So the way I do that is I just straight up measure up the whole house. It's pretty square, so it's pretty easy. So we're going to say, so it is 2-story. So it's about 1,800 square foot for the bottom. And then the top there, I'll usually stay right about that same amount. But maybe I'll add in just a little bit because it is 2-story on pretty much the whole side here. So I'm going to quote it at like 1,900. Maybe like 1,950. Let's see. So let's say 1,950 times 0.25. So you'd be at 487.50. And then plus, what was it? 385. So plus 385. So her total bid, or quote, would be 872.50. Alright, so this is that last one that we did. It's not very 3D, but this is that one with all the siding. So I'm just going to do this one like I did the last one. I just measure out pretty much the whole house. And we've got 2136. That's what it's showing. Go over to our calculator. What was it? 2176 times 0.25. 544 would be the cost of that house wash. So as you can see, I pretty much bid everything. I started about 25 cents a square foot, pretty much for everything, for cleaning roofs, house washing, concrete. It's just easy to do. Base price 25 cents a square foot. If I'm doing a partial roof cleaning, I'll bump that up to 35 cents a square foot just to get a little more out of it, because sometimes when some roofs are just so small that if you're just doing the front and you charge 25 cents a square foot, it's going to come out to like, 120 or 130. And my minimum anyways is 200. So for partial roof cleanings on all of them, I just go to 35 cents a square foot. And I've never had any issues with it. So like I said, if you got some value out of this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'm gonna start putting out stuff more regularly. And if you have any suggestions for videos, put it down in the comments. I do go through and read those each time, and I try to reply to everybody. So that's gonna do it for today. I'll see you on the next one. If I had a booger in my nose this entire time, shit.